name's James White. I'm the fire chief at West End Fire and Rescue and joined there as a junior member in 1983. So I have about 40 years on. Yes, well, as a young boy, my uncle Charlie Myers, which was the fire chief at Vigilance for many decades, my cousins, his mother, and his sister all belonged to the local fire service at the Vigilant Hose Company. A lot of my friends in high school ran at West End, and so really it was about the excitement, the adrenaline, watching the fire trucks as a 12-year-old go up and down the road, seeing emergency on television. And in school for career day, I believe it was third or fourth grade, what do you want to be when you grow up? And actually, I still have the paper that says I want to be a New York City fireman. So, the benefit of that, the adrenaline gets us in, but the benefit is to the community. You train to help those. We're responding out here in their worst day ever, and so we're in a position to help. So we get excited, but at the same point, we're compassionate about the loss they're experiencing. But we are there to help, so that makes it all worthwhile. Sure, there's actually several. The calls that really affect fire rescue personnel are the ones they don't talk about. There's calls that we run, and to be honest with you, the older you get, the more you remember. You never forget any of the calls. Every fatality I've ever ran, I can pretty much see their face. So we push it in the back of our minds, but again, someone has to do it. So, we had a fire. Myself and Chief O'Donnell were working together, and another gentleman from West End, and we had got a call for a house fire in the Mongol area. And so we left our jobs and responded to that call. And unfortunately, that fire claimed the life of 2 children, or an infant, a child, and an adult in the fire. We see a lot of things, and quite honestly, we can separate that. It's when a family member arrives. If we have a really serious incident, that imagine someone getting run over by a train and what that looks like. To us, we can get by that. It's not that. It's when the parents or the family member or the kids or the wife shows up, or you see that person that's in pain or fatally injured with a wedding ring on. That someone is going to get the news that they never ever thought they would get. So that's what we struggle with, I think, is people want to hear about the calls, the bad calls, but at the same point, we really don't want to talk about the bad calls because it's like running it all over again. But that fire was one that would stick with me. I was younger then. I've ran a lot, of course, in Montgomery County where I work, but there's been several. Neal Road, I was with a fireman from the Vigilance here. We were the first ones in the house. So there's just, calls after calls. There's medical calls that we run, that it's not all about the fire and the smoke and the car mangled. It's about an 80-year-old woman that fell down the basement stairs, and she's going to a nursing home and may not come back because she broke her hip. So there's a lot more to the fire service than fire trucks, but it's really focused on service delivery and taking care of the community.